Deweyi Drive, it's unapologetically Ugandan, and my name is Jackie Deweyi. I hope you're fine. Olyoteyo, mlembe, murakoze, wekaze, kodeyo. Hey, anyway, we are unapologetically Ugandan, but of course, as you can see from the different shows, we borrow best practices from Africa and beyond. This show is about change making, and I hope that whatever you get from watching this show does help you become a better person, and most importantly helps you to do good or to start on doing something in your community to see transformation. Now, one of the issues that Uganda grapples with at the moment is the issue of teenage pregnancies, and it is so surprising. Did you know that for every 20 students, girls, female students you see, 5 of them are pregnant, or among the 5, some already have a child? Now, this is so sad, because these are not just, apart from the fact that you're going to see this child pregnant, these are not just statistics. These are shattered dreams. These girls have dreams, and even their parents have dreams. When your mother and your father when the mom and father send the child to school, they have expectations. They have wishes and dreams for this child. Yeah. But because of the pregnancy, that will be the end. And of course, today we'll be talking about the need to protect our girls. And as we talk about teenage pregnancies, we'll also talk about what do you do when the girl is pregnant. Because traditionally, she stops school, you send her to her grandma, you send her somewhere far, so the community stops talking, because the biggest fear will be, Kakati, the whole village is going to talk about me. God, what did I do? Nabachi, for us, we are a God-fearing family. Then you hide the child, and after the baby, they probably send them off to marriage. And some, unfortunately, have been forced to marry their offenders, because this is a child, and we're talking about children. The statistics were saying children between 15 and 19. They're supposed to be in school and they're pregnant. And now the parents are saying, you got her pregnant, marry her. This boy does not love her. Then what happens after that? That's how domestic violence starts. This boy feels like you're a burden on him. This girl's dreams are shattered. Kwegamba, so many issues. And today we are so honored to have a man who has done so much work in the space of change making, especially in the fight for the girl child. But before we get to him, let us first thank our sponsors. We'll start with Building Experts Uganda. They're right on Market Street, Nakasero, Capital Shoppers Plaza. They have the latest finishing wear, plumbing materials, sanitary wear, tiles, adhesives, and so much more. Imported products. You don't have to take a flight to get these things. It's a one-stop shop for all your finishing needs. The numbers are on the screen, but I'll tell you: 0754 515 855. The other number is 0392 914. Oh my God. Okay, I'll try to get that other number for you again. Okay, my producer just reminded me it ends with a 256. So that is the Building Experts at Nakasero. And then also reminding you that after building and getting the best wear, you do need to paint your house, and there is paint for you. They are the official Rigo partners on Boyogere and that entire route beyond. So don't get duped. Excuse me. Excuse me. There's a lot of colds going around Uganda right now. I don't know if it's the weather. All the kids are coughing and they have a flu, and so are we, the parents. I don't know how it is your end. And by the way, talking about flu, what remedies are you using? Just share with us. Go in the comments there. Share some home remedies. Looks like my kids are being resistant to these drugs. Anyhow, I was telling you about the paint for you. And by the way, you'll call 0772 987 442. Interior paint, exterior paint, decorative, automotive, any type of paint. And if you want them to guide you in the interior decor, they get you covered. And then, of course, Mufa Pendo Stays. Right here where we're doing the show. This is an Airbnb that is sponsoring us, and you're welcome to stay there. Call 0772 987 442. The number is on the screen, or just go to Airbnb and just check out Mufa Pendo Stays. And if you want to set up an Airbnb, they can help you and even help you do your interior decor. And now the man of the day, the man that makes this show really happen, my producer is Stuart from Clap Records. If you want to live stream your event, whatever it is it a happy event, is it a sad event, the memories that you want to keep with you for life, for generations, you need to stream. And The world is now a global village. You're here in Uganda probably, and you're getting married in the US, and you want your family to watch live. Please call or WhatsApp 0777 289 993 or 0752616614, and Stewart and Clap Records, the entire team, they have the latest gadgets. They will have you covered. Welcome again. My name is Jackie Deweyi, and I've kept my guest long on the screen. So you are civil. This man, I don't know where to start, but he is so many things. I don't know where to start. He is, first of all, the chairperson, Hope for Girls Advocacy. And I love the story of Hope for Girls. During COVID, these parents came together, noticing a problem of their girls getting pregnant, and they organized themselves. He will tell us more about it. But he does local activism, culture entrepreneurship. He does so much. You're actually more getting angawadi. So, let them know who you are.
My name is Mayanja Gerson Mugambwa. And when I cross and go to Karamoja, they also call me a parable.
Meaning?
Meaning the rare bull in the crowd. But also my other, brothers and sisters gave me a title, which is Amoti. So yes, I swing. Yeah, from Bunyoro, and
the Bunyoro
gave me in
okay.
So I'm Ugandan. I'm truly Ugandan.
You are truly Ugandan.
And then you provoked me when you started with greeting people in so many languages, and I said, "Wow, this is great." So for me, I also think I also say triple makadi.
Meaning?
Triple makadi. Triple.
Triple makadi.
And subaya.
Meaning?
Mingoni. Just like greeting, like you're greeting.
Katia, how much languages are those? I'm happy
triple
to learn.
makadi. We are in Zimbabwe. We
Triple.
say triple makadi.
Triple makadi.
And then triple makadi.
Yeah, that's how I respond.
Yeah, different. If you're a woman, you do triple makadi. If you're a man, then triple makadi. Then in Sebei we say subaya. And subaya is specific for men. And then when you go to West Nile and the Rubaras, we say Mingoni.
Mamuke.
Mararu. And so it's beautiful to be Ugandan because Uganda is diverse.
Yeah.
And that is our strength. Only that we don't know.
Yes.
Sometimes you find people and you look at them and they even don't know that diversity is beauty. But that's not the point. The point is that I liked your introduction. When you talked about the child and the effect of pregnancy, and you even brought in some statistics. But I just want to tell you one thing, that in every 4 girls who are enrolled in primary school, 3 of them drop out.
Primary school.
And every 5 girls that enroll in secondary school, 3 of them drop out.
Leaving only 2.
And that is a serious problem for this country.
It is.
And if you don't wake up to see what you can do, then we're in danger. And that's why some civil society organizations in the Kuyiriba division that are working on violence against children came up and then formed this coalition of Hope for Girls Coalition in Kuyiriba, which is now starting from Kuyiriba, but it will go, to many other parts, because this problem is not a only Kuyiriba problem. And what are the causes of this? There are several, of course. The causes of this dropout. I mean, one is the parents themselves. How are we parenting? Because parenting is a full-time job. And I always tell men and women that being a father does not make you a parent. No, you can be a father but not a parent, because for me parenting there is no excuse. If you are a parent, then you must know to do your job. And what is unfortunate, there's no blueprint for parenting, because every child is different. Even if they're identical twins, so you can't use the same methods you have used it for Mayanja and then you use the same methods for Jackie. It can't work. So you must learn these children and see how can I now try to deal with this child. And you find that now another reason of why these girls are getting more pregnancy every day is about how the perception of the teachers, the attitude of the teachers in schools. How do you react to these children when they're in school? Some of them end up getting pregnant because some of the teachers themselves are doing it to them. And also you find that the lack of good learning environment at school can cause these girls to drop out of school. But there's one which is most important, is the teenage pregnancies.
Yes.
And these children get pregnant and eventually we focus on them. They're the victims. And now we focus on them and then we leave the perpetrator. So, just as you said, when she gets pregnant, you pull her out of school.
Yeah.
And then
that's embarrassed you.
And then the man who did it goes around having other ones and doing the same thing.
And if he's a relative, maybe an uncle, then his wife will start saying, you seduced my husband.
Exactly. And you know that all those children, 22.1% of these children who get pregnant, only 8% of them get a chance of going back to school. Meaning that all the rest now don't go back to school.
They get
and
married.
They get married off, like you said. They are given to the offenders. Some of them start, prostitution and end up, sex exploitation happens because it's for real. A survey that was done in 2022 showed that in Chimombasa, which is in Wise, sexual violence stood at 51.1%. 51.1% as in Chimombasa. And then you find that in
Kampala.
Yes, in Kampala, in Wise here. And then you find that in Katanga, just here in one day, it is 29.1%. And when we talk about sexual violence, we are talking about, of course, a number of things that are happening, and we are looking as parents.
Yes.
So I think as parents, we need to start taking responsibility for our daughters and children in general, and say, what can we do? If my daughter gets pregnant, is that all? We are saying no. We are saying this girl got pregnant. It was a mistake. And probably it is not her mistake.
Yeah.
It is the mistake
She's
of my
child.
aunt,
The adults.
who put that girl in that situation. So if she gets pregnant, can we take her back to school? Because
she deserves education.
She deserves to get education, because
Yes.
education is a basic human right. So we cannot deny her education because she got pregnant. So can we take her back to school? So that, but when we take her back to school, what happens in the school? Because our schools they don't care. The teachers don't know anything about this problem. They don't think that this girl should come back home. And probably some of them also, some of the teachers have done it to some other girls. And you might find that if a female teacher has seen it somewhere, she also is a product of that thing. So you'll find that it's a big problem. But now we're saying, can we take back these children to school?
Now, hold the thought. Before we dive deep into this conversation, can you tell us what you as Hope for Girls Advocacy is doing? Because I see you're already on ground. You're talking Katanga, Chimombasa, where it's like you're already on the ground. That is all Kawempe,
Yes.
where you're best.
Yes,
What are you doing?
we have a consortium of some civil society organizations, like 20 in Uganda Division, who are working on violence against children. And what we are doing, first of all, we are creating awareness about the problem of sexual violence to girls, but also generally children. How can we also have different organizations. We have organizations that are giving sexual reproductive health services. We have organizations that like Tustiklawam in 2024 did a baseline survey, and they found out that many girls had dropped out of school, and now they have taken back to school. They're back to school, and 100 girls now are back in school, and they're paying school fees for them. So as a coalition, we are trying to see how can we, first software, how can we change the mindset of our people, how can we get people to know that this is a crime. And we're also working with police closely. How can people get to know the law? The schools, how can they know the guidelines, because there are guidelines that were given.
Yes.
They were given to make sure that these girls who got pregnant can still go ahead and have the education. Do the schools know about this? If they don't know, we help them to understand and know these guidelines. But also to see that the legal aid, some of the organizations are providing legal aid to these girls. You find that they don't know what to do. The parent is like, I've hit a snag, I can't go anywhere. So they can give
they don't get nowhere to go
legal aid to get justice. So that is what we are doing at the moment. And we think we are going to grow bigger and bigger, because this is a bigger problem than what we are addressing right now. So that is what we are doing as the coalition.
Interesting. From what you've just said, and I love that you mentioned legal aid, because especially when the offender is a powerful person, some of them are, strong, wealthy people in the community, and you don't have the financial muscle to go against them.
Sure.
Already your work sounds really, really incredible. Can you maybe share with us some examples of how some of these your programs have impacted the community?
Yes, one, now we have, of course, many. We have many young girls, young mothers, now who have qualified in, we have organization like someone which does tailoring. So they go for tailoring, and many of them have graduated with DIT certificates, and they're in the market doing their jobs.
Working, yeah.
Some of them have gone back to school, and they have reached, they're going up to senior 6, and they are continuing with their education. And you also find that a number of now children in some of the schools are aware about the sexual reproductive health, and they can tell that this is right for me and this is not right for me, and we are still pushing to make sure that, and we are working closely with the police, Kawempe police, and they're doing everything possible so that if this happens, the perpetrator is really taken to court and faces it. And some cases have gone through, and some of these perpetrators have been charged and convicted
Justice, and
for some
taken out of the
cases,
community.
some of these cases. So as a coalition, and it's a new one. We started last year, but now we feel like we are ready to continue doing what we are doing.
Amazing. You're really doing a good job. Yep. Let's talk about the root causes of this problem, the teenage pregnancy.
Yep.
What do you think are the main factors driving teenage pregnancies, especially in the place where you centered in Kawempe? I know you've walked around the whole country, you've been to Karamoja and everywhere. You could give more examples, but I know that majorly you've been rooted here in
First,
Kawempe.
I want to say the first cause is power. We have power as men. And society believes that we have power to do whatever we want to do. So, and eventually we are yes, the society put us somewhere
Up
and
there on a pedestal.
and whatever we do, we can do it. So that power, and now we are abusing that power.
Yes.
And
because just because power, I can.
Because if I touch a young girl's breast, and then that girl tries to send the car, the women around will say, well, now what's the problem?
Women, moreover,
exactly. Yes. So meaning that for me, as a man, I have a right to do whatever I want to do. Yes. So that's one of the causes of the problem. But also the parents. Some girls fear, their mothers. They fear their fathers. So even when they get a problem, they can't go to their fathers and mothers and say, Mama, this man is doing this to me. When they tell you, you are going to say, why do you always... Exactly. So that's a problem, the parenting. And the parenting, parenting methods we have chosen sometimes are not the right ones. We are using analog parenting methods.
It's what we know. That's how we were raised.
To digital children.
Yes.
And then we think they're going to work. No, they will not work. And that's a problem we have, we still think that for me, because my father then these children need more sophisticated methods of parenting. We need to talk to them. We need to sit with them, understand, talk to them, understand their challenges, and help them to to overcome these challenges. But in many homes, the father is the king. When he comes, everybody has to, go down the bed, and then that's of course that's wrong. And then physical violence.
Busy. Yeah.
Physical violence is also another stimulator. That when you start, intimidating, beating them, and then they feel like really they want to get some peace, and then they meet this guy who, poses as the peace giver. They'll go with that peace giver, and they don't know they're getting it even more fire, directly in fire, because that peacemaker or giver is even worse than the father themselves. So those are some of the things. But also the schools where we take these children. The schools, are these schools good schools? Because I know you, parents of today, when you say school, charging a lot of money and then speaking English all the time, then that is a good school.
Yeah.
But really?
It's a posh
good
school.
No, it's
the
not
child
a
is
good
eloquent.
School. There are elements of
they
a
give
good
a lot
school.
of
There are
homework.
things we must look for in a good school. How are the teachers?
They are swimming. They have swimming.
So does that make a school a good school?
That's what parents are choosing now.
That's a misconception.
Because you want a child to be happy.
Is this a good school? Do we know that if my child goes to this school, he'll come out with empathy? You have children and men and women who don't even have empathy. They don't even know what it means. You have young girls and old women who don't even know, when you talk about emotional intelligence, it's nothing. They don't even understand what it is. They don't have that in them. So how can we have schools that can give us, the good schools that can give us that? But also early marriages. They're the girls that are forced into getting married because the mother wants some small thing, some money, they need to survive. So early marriages. But sometimes also poverty. There are families that think that the daughter is the one who's going to give them money to
change their lives,
to sail through the pebbles of life. And so this girl,
they're going to bring dowry, we'll have a better house.
Exactly.
We'll move to land.
So that girl will end up,
yes.
Exactly. And then eventually I have the bad teachers. The bad teachers, they're out there. So because a girl is, some girls have, boobs, and then they start telling this girl, katigwe, kati diary. So the girl feels like, oh, this is not the right place for me.
I'm not supposed to be.
She feels, like, oh my God, why am I here? Every time she goes to school, it's like, oh, I've come again. I wish I did go to school. So that it will be very easy for a man to misdirect that girl in something different. So I think there are several causes, but those are really important. That ones that we can have to look at and see how we can change. And these ones we can change. We have capacity as in the community where the girl starts from. Because in the morning, just imagine the girl from the morning is leaving home and then is going through a small town, and then the men are saying, kuze, and then she gets school, and then there's physical violence. The teacher is waiting. Why are you late? But she was doing some work at home. Why are you late? She gets in class, and then this teacher embarrasses her, and then everybody's laughing. So the whole day is, under stress. Then goes back in the evening. The same men are there waiting. And the sentence, so you can imagine what happens every day. So every day the girl is going through, hell, but she can't tell anybody. There's nobody she can open up and say, let me go talk to my mother, because the mother has no time. And some mothers today are like the fathers themselves.
Yeah,
they don't,
because fathers have also abandoned children with mothers.
They are absent mothers and absent fathers. They are not there. They are busy working all the time.
To make ends meet.
But I asked them, why do you work all the time and then you eventually can't even afford to pay? In UPE schools, they don't eat food, and the parents cannot afford to pay for 5,000 for a meal, but they are working like hell. Why are you working? Why don't you say, let me stop working and look after my daughter or my son at home? So those are some of the causes of this problem, and it's general. At least here when you go to like places like Karamoja, you'll be surprised. You say, every time you say this girl, they will tell you, no, that one is not a girl, it's a woman. You say maybe that girl, they say no, that one's not a girl, it's a woman. So you will find that almost every girl in Karamoja is a woman, simply because they gave birth, simply because they got married when they were
children.
Yes.
You know, from what you've said, Garrison, I see there's a multi-layer of issues. I don't even think it's possible to have just one solution. And so before we get to the solutions, you mentioned two key people that you kept repeating who are part of the problem: the parents and the teachers. You constantly say the parents, the teachers, the parents, the teachers, and you gave really lots of examples on how we as parents, guardians, and teachers are contributing to the problem. So what is the role of parents? How can you advise parents to help in preventing teenage pregnancies, and also what can they do to support teenage mothers? Because it can happen to you. You can wake up and your child is a teenage mother. So what should
so
you
one
say
thing
to such
to the parents, first thing, make sure that you have 2 ears. Don't be a parent without ears. Try as much as possible to have 2 ears. And don't use them to hear. Use them to listen. However, big you are, however loaded you are, listen to that young girl. And 2, have 2 eyes and use them to see. Because sometimes communication is not about hearing and listening. It's about the body language. Look at your daughter and find out, how does she feel now? And always ask that question. How do you feel? Do you have a problem? How can I help? Be their friend. Not the bad friends, the good friend who is out there to come and solve a problem. That is one for the parents. But also as parents, let's create some time. We are very busy, true. The economy is biting, true. We need to have good houses, true. We need to have those cars, true. But let's have some time for our children. Would you love to work so hard for your children, and then you have very nice buildings for them, and then you have very good cars for them, but at the time you finish having all that for them, they are spoiled? So what was the fuss about? So can we create some time for our children? But also, can we try to see the values that are important in life? Today we are making our children very competitive for no reason.
Number 1, this time you're number 5.
And then enviri oli yasibye enviri zasinze ezizo, so nina okusiba enviri atule yayambadde akateeteeyi kanyumye nnyo, kati nawe nekuja
naye nakola kino nawe no comparing omulimu gwo n'ogw'omwana. You make
so you
kids
transfer
really
your competition. You transfer your competition
onto innocent
to the children.
Sure.
And in that you're training them to get it in whatever form. So they don't care about how they get it. All they care about, they have got it. So they become very easy prey for the predators, because the predators are moving, everywhere. They are there moving. So as parents, we need to see how we can pick the values that are important in life, and then try to make sure that our children get to know those values in life. And then as parents, still we have to be parents, not to only our children, but to children in the community. Let them be your children. I don't mean that to say, because I have seen parents, yours are angels.
And then others, your nieces and nephews,
and then when the ones you see there are all ababayaye bakukyala abo bujja kwononeka obwo, and then you think bujja kwononeka otagenda kola kwononeka, because for you are protecting her in a gated fence. Who tells you that? Can you have all the children, our children? Can you talk to them? Can you be a good parent, that when you meet children you don't lose anything by greeting them? on the way. You don't lose anything by saying, now, can you come talk to me? What's the problem? And they tell you, some of them might even be fearing, tell their mother.
But they will
But
trust
then
you.
they trust you. Once they trust you, they'll tell you that this is happening to me. And solve it. And if you find them doing something bad, don't rush and tell their mothers. Tell them why. Don't do it again.
You know, you've given some powerful insights in there. So now I'm thinking you're so passionate, you're so knowledgeable and experienced. How long have you done this work?
I've done it since I became, I started realizing, because at home I have 3 siblings, two sisters who follow me, and then my other last brother. But I realized that during those days, whenever they would say they are going to beat them, it would be me crying. I would cry.
Empathetic child.
And then beg that they don't beat them.
They forgive them.
They forgive them.
You leave the child.
And then when I grew up, I started realizing, okay, I could, and surely that would happen. And true, when I was growing up, there was a gentleman, now he's the late, he was called Mr. Wanyama John. So he had other children who were older than me, but he made me a chief. No wonder I'm a chief. I'm Mukungu Kabaka today. So he made me a chief. So every time they would do something wrong, he would bring them and then say, Stephen, sit down. They sit. Then he tells me, Stephen has done A, B, C, D. Now what do we do with him? And I don't remember at anyone saying that we beat him. I would always say, let us forgive him. So that's how I started. And
that
then
was
when I became a youth leader, became a youth leader, I still continue doing the same thing. And then when I went now into real work now, and it's the same thing, and I feel passionate about it. And I think it's not a job. It is something that is ingrained in me.
It's like a calling.
And I feel good when I do it. And whenever I find children, wherever they are somewhere, and I feel I can contribute, I can talk to them, I do. I talk to them. And I realize that when you are talking with children, don't think that you are the most intelligent. Come down where they are, and they'll tell you that they're also intelligent. You are only lucky that you were born before them.
Yes.
So let them also, give them space. I always say I create space for young people to speak out. Create the space. Let them talk to you. And sometimes they start feeling like, now this is a good person. I can talk to him about this, and they reveal certain things you even never thought that they can have to be told to you in just a few hours. Yet they can't talk to their mothers and fathers. So I think as parents, it's really important that we create that space. And let's stop. And this is mainly for, of course, also women. That for us, we are the only conversation we have with our children is through questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Questions. Do you know what you cause it? You know what you cause it? Did you do your work?
Who spoiled this?
Assignment. So why is this place like this? What kind of conversation is that? Even if you are with, if it's the woman asking the husband will feel like, I think this is a bad one. Yeah. So can we have a conversation? The conversation skills are just there. But of course, I know some people these days, they don't know even how to converse because they're very busy with their phones. Conversing with people. Conversing with people in China, and they don't know the Chinese that talking to, and they are happy. But now, even AI now has conversational skills.
Basically, you can jazz and learn.
This is a
learn
skill.
How to hold a conversation.
Feel good.
Now they call it jazzing, so that's what we mean by conversation.
Yes.
Proper conversation.
You feel good when you're talking to someone and someone is listening to you and is talking back to you and you are laughing and you are spontaneous. So sometimes you bond. But are we bonding with our children? Really? And you look at the men. One day I was carrying my son on the back, and then we were passing a border stage, and then there was this one border guy who was very responsible, and he said several mostly obsituzi abasajja tebaweka ki tebaweka baana and I said thank you, but this is my son. This ono si mwana, he is my son. Because how do you bond with your children? What is it that they're going to remember about you when you're not there?
Yeah.
Is it about your ice cream?
No.
No, they can buy the ice cream.
Anyone can buy ice cream.
Yes, they can. For me, I remember sometimes when I'm talking to parents, I tell them, for me, I'm lucky. I started, using an aeroplane when I was a kid. And they say, oh, and I ask you, have you done it? They say, for you are lucky. You had money at home. And they say so many things about, how well they were at the time. And I tell them, I have not talked about money here. My father, Mugambwa Gerson Moaile, would come back early at around 6, is at home. So he would put me here and then say, Ndimunyonyi. Then we walk around. And that was today I'm a man, I still remember that experience. It
has never gone away.
So how many of us can tell a good experience about their fathers? What is it that you're going to leave? He's not here. And it's not about the meat he used to buy. I can buy it.
You can buy it. Anyone can buy it.
Yes, he can buy it, and everybody can buy the meat for me. But those small things matter when you're parenting. So what are those things? Are they there? They're not there. And how do we learn? For me, my mother, sometimes she would, get, angry with my two sisters, and then she would tell me, and then I would come in as the kanyama. So I want to know why they have annoyed my mother. And then whenever she would realize that we are it is escalating, then she would say, "My anja kali baleke." Me,
mommy's body.
The one who is right now is telling me baleke, and I will feel like, no, I have to finish this. And then she would go ahead and say, "Nkugambe baleke," and I will feel like, oh, mama, nze mutufu. And why are you stopping me? But now, when she went, now I know. She was telling me that sometimes you might be the one who is right.
But you can let it go.
But sometimes let it go.
Very powerful statements. Even when you're right, it's not that you should hold on to things, but let go. I love that message. I hope that it does minister to your heart as well. I'm speaking like a pastor.
Yes.
I hope that it does speak to your heart as well. Now, one of the things that are so hard, you've just spoken about the parents and the parenting that we all know these days, of provision, buying this and that, giving this and that. One of the hardest things that I see, and of course even from growing up, is raising a teenage child. And we're talking teenage pregnancies, because when we talk about teenage pregnancies, sometimes it's between peers, teenage boys and teenage girls. What kind of advice would you give a parent battling with raising a teenager right now on some of the things they need to know? Because the first thing they will do is put curfew, limit your kind of friends, limit your privileges, and maybe say, I'm punishing you. You will not go to this place. The traditional way that just makes the kids more rebellious.
But why do you start, raising a teenage? Why? Raising does not start at that time. It starts at 0. So when you start at 13, thank you, but you're not doing the right thing. You have been sleeping on the job. And we say it is a full-time job. From 0 age, 0 year you have started. So you can't say, let me wait 13 years, then you are going to start talking. They will not talk to you because they don't trust you. So start right now and know that this is, and you even know that this is what works. With this one, this is what works. With this one, this is what works. Because you are learning. Parenting is also a process of learning.
Yeah, for us.
And that's why you will find grandmothers and grandfathers. They say, bono na abana.
Bajaja.
Yes. Because she realized that she really, beat you up, but still she never got what she wanted from you. So now she knows that beating is not the solution. Physical violence is not the solution. So how can you, at that age, when you're starting late, of course when you start late, you don't expect
big results.
Of course. Be patient. First of all, be patient with them. And also revisit your days. When you were 13, how were you?
So sometimes our children are a reflection of
just do that. when you were 15.
At
15, how were you?
So
did you listen to your mother? How did you find your mother talking to you? And what did you like about what your mother used to tell you? And what didn't you like? So pick on what your mother used to do and then made you feel like good, and then use that. What is it? So go back and see. Mama, bichi yakolanga ninsanyuka. Bichi.
Now we call it omwana.
Exactly. Bichi byakolanga nenyiga.
Editing.
Nono 15. Limunyizanga ngo inakola ki?
Yali achannaza.
We nanyiga.
Yali achannaza.
Ngochagala nnyo.
Ngochagala naye I realized later it was for life. I come back from Bulgaria mungu naze. Kacho badde okusomero nga totukula.
Yes, so can we pick on those small things
and you don't forget
used to do that made us feel good,
they loved you,
and the ones that made us feel bad, because this is true. I was working with some children from the Catholic mothers, members of parliament. So I was working with their children, and then I asked these children one question: what is it that you are missing ever since your mothers became members of parliament? It was shocking. 13-year-old boys told me, I miss eating food cooked by my mother.
Oh.
That's it. Not food. Ice cream.
That food.
Not ice cream. Makes. Not pizza. Not what. All that thing was there, but she was missing food
from
cooked by her mother.
Oh,
another one told me, I miss praying sapule.
The rosary, yes.
The rosary together with my mother. She's no longer there.
So busy.
There was nothing like money
politics
there.
Had taken
there was nothing like mother there, like money.
Or the rosary is at home.
Another one told me, yes, the money is there now, but we are always with grandmother. So I miss seeing my mother.
Oh.
And those members of parliament are busy in the name of working for this country. If they
constituents, yes,
if they are doing that,
when the ones that matter the most are not getting the best of them.
They are everywhere.
Yeah, I think many of us are like the MP. The one takes your time
exactly
for your children, and there's no bad thing like mom guilt. So many times I feel it when I'm so busy, and I'm like, oh my children,
our children,
my boys, oh my sons, how are they? And you are so busy with work, but you have to work,
and I know,
and you don't know the way out. Now, you have said so many things that are eye-opening, especially for a parent, and when it comes to matters, teenage pregnancies, because these are matters that affect not just the child, but the community, the family, everyone around us, and the government, because they have to plan for you as well. Now, I wanted to ask you, how can the viewer today support? I don't know when you'll be watching this show, maybe you caught it on the live, or some other day when you're watching it. I would love to see your comment. How can they support Hope for Girls advocacy?
One, thank you very much. That's a beautiful one. One is, first of all, amplify the message. That's the first thing. Make sure that you talk about this problem and let everybody know that it's a problem and we need to do something about it.
Yeah.
But also, we need resources. Any kind of resources you can, help us to move forward. To move forward, you can give us, contribution in any form. We agree. If you're a facilitator, if you're a public speaker, you can help us to advocate for these girls. You can just make sure that you come to our office. Our office is in Waise. That's where we have our office. So you come there, and then we see how we can work together. And also, if you give us space, you create a space where you can come and talk to parents, come talk to the different stakeholders.
Even if you're outside Kawempe.
Schools, even if you're outside Kawempe, we can always, work with you and come and see how we can make the things better. But look at this. So today we have parents who are very intelligent. I worked with children, and these children come from
wealthy
the wealthy homes of this country. So in this camp, sometimes, I like questions. One of the tools I work with are questions. So I ask these children, what is it that your parents do that make you feel really bad?
Mm-hmm.
So a young girl of 11 years tells me,
Mm-hmm.
when they speak a language, I don't know. And then I probed, and said,
What do you mean language you
what
don't
language is
know?
that? And the girl said, I don't know. So I had to invite the parents for feedback. So her mother is the one who came. So I asked the lady and said, now, which language do you speak? Which this beautiful girl doesn't know. And she told me Uganda. And I said, now, why do you speak Uganda when you know she doesn't know Uganda?
Yes.
And said, yeah, sometimes we get, emotional, and we don't want her to know why. And then I said, okay, that's good. And I said, now, which other language do you speak? And she told me, because we are speaking in English, I speak English. And told me my mother is a Mhima, so I also speak fluent Lunyankole. So it's 3 languages. So I said, how about the father? I said, the father speaks English, then speaks Luganda, and is a Musoga, speaks Lusoga. So in the home, all those languages are in one home. But their daughter, in fact, their only daughter, their only child, speaks only one language, English. And I looked at her and said, why are you so mean? And the lady looked at me as if I was very intelligent and said, yes, Mr. Mayanja, you are right. We need to do something about this. So I think it is, as parents, we need to style up a little bit to find out, are we on the right track? Is it, must we do things because other people are doing them? They're not even cool. They're not even cool, because if you can't tell me something's cool when that child is going to suffer for a very long time. Now I see young men and young women who are trying to learn local languages because they want to do something. And now they are struggling, they are paying, and they have very bad accent, but they are still struggling to learn the language. So why don't you help your children to learn what they are supposed to learn at that age? And there are certain things, my aunt, even if I went to Trump's country, USA, and said, now I'm no longer Mayanja, I am Maya Gary. Maya Gary is not in my blood. Maya Gary will be just here. But inside me, there will be Mayanja Gerson Mugambwa. So let us be who we are. Let us not pretend. Because I already said it's good to tell a lie. But it's very bad to tell a lie to yourself.
Yes.
If you think telling a lie is good, and you start even telling yourself a lie,
then you believe the lie.
Then that's you are getting off the track.
Stuart, I don't know how much time we have because I wanted us to talk about you now. You're doing a lot of work. How many?
10.
Oh, we still have some minutes. Let's use them. Let's talk about you as well. We've spoken so much about your work and Hope for Girls and that advocacy. I know that you do handle other issues outside this teenage pregnancy, and I do know that you are into local activism and consulting. How do you use your consulting skills to support local activism?
Oh wow! When I talk about it, I feel like because I strongly believe that a problem can only be solved when the people having that problem participate in finding a solution to that problem. And that is what local activism does. Local activism, what I'm saying is that now we localize the problem and put it down there, and then you see it yourself, and then you find your own solutions by yourself in a simple way. And that's why sometimes I use theater of the oppressed. Theater of the oppressed is a theater form that was developed in Brazil in the 1970s by a director called Augusto Boal. So it's a problem-solving theater. It only deals with these problems. If you have a problem, you apply it, and then you get and everybody becomes an actor and get a solution to the problem through acting. And at the end of the day, the community owns the process and the solution, and they have a number of choices they can pick from, and that's one. So local activism is for me part of me, because if we don't in my culture, if you want me to learn quickly, then use my culture. And I always tell people that my culture is music, dance, and drama. And they say, how? Everything in my culture is musical. Can you imagine that even the kabaka, my kabaka, is a drama?
Our king?
Yes.
Kabaka Ronald.
Yes, abuuza ku mujaguzo azibuuza atya. He does it as a kabaka. So you can't be a kabaka in Uganda nga togenda kubuuza ku mujaguzo. Kabaka is an actor. I don't know if you have realized that. Kabaka, there's this when they're going to crown him, the kabaka, when he's still a prince. There's Otaule Birumbi. So he becomes the protagonist, leading an army, and then Omutaka Semanove leads the antagonist army, and they use papyrus reeds to fight, and they fight until the crown prince's army defeats the Semanove's army, and then is crowned king. When you look at the naming ceremony, look at Imbaga, look at the funeral. In the funeral, twasuze Mungalali. Twasuze muki? Mungalali. Twasuze Mungalali. Erenga ziseke buka. And the actors are the nephews. Never vayo, never taniko kozati. Netuyimba. So everything. So I use that as one of the methods that make people realize things easily, see the problem, and work on the problem. And I've done this. God has been good for me. I've done it in many parts of this country, even in the hard-to-reach places like Karamoja, where you find that the people not. I've used it there. I have done local activism in Sebei on female genital mutilation. That is serious.
And that is a very sensitive topic for them. It's like going to Bugiswa and talk about Imbali.
So, but I've done it. And I've enjoyed it.
Survived.
And you have enjoyed it. Even today I go there and people are like, yes, this is ours. So I've been to Bukavu. Bukavu in Congo. Do you know Bukavu? Hard to reach. That's another hard to reach. Another hard to reach to talk about, to use this to talk about, stereotypes between them and Banyarwanda. Do you know what it means in that community? I've been to Marsabit. So that you went there as a peace trainer, I imagine. Yes, a peace trainer to talk about. So this is you in Sebei. What's that thing around you? Wow, I've been honored. Sometimes I'm honored, and so that was your day of honor. Yes, I'd gone there to meet a group of women. It's called the Moyosopispeak people. Now we call them the Menet. People who they used to be in the forest, but now they are moved from the forest, and they make baskets. So that's one way. And basketry was a very big thing for me, because they were on top of Mountain Elgon. They would only have bamboo suits to eat, and then honey, no food. So the women would come from up there, go down, so get the baskets, change, and get money, get food, go back home. But the journey there would be it's a long story. So being a good basket weaver would land you into a rep. Because they know you're going to get food. You know so how you're going to weave baskets, and there will be food and money in the home. So you go, not money. You go, you exchange those baskets with food from with the Sabinis down, and they give you food. And you get back to your rep. So men would rep you. So men would rep you after realizing that this one is a good basket weaver. Yeah, so she has the ability to make sure that we get food. So those stories. So these, I was with those women trying now to see how can we develop new products in that area, because they're doing their traditional baskets. But now how can we make products that can be sold out beyond their community, and they get money from the baskets.
So much learning from you, Garrison, Mayanja, Mugambwa. But I think you've been seeing the beautiful baskets on the screen that are running. Garrison here, Garrison. That's how it should be said. I'm saying it like the grassroots people. Garrison. Garrison. He is a cultural entrepreneur. You want to tell us briefly, maybe in a minute, about you as a cultural entrepreneur and what you're doing? I see all these beautiful baskets.
There's a story.
And how you're using them to drive social change.
I like stories because I'm a storyteller.
All right, good.
We went to Karamoja to when they were disarming them, the Kalachunas. So what to do? Alternative livelihood. So I was training them in entrepreneurship. So after that, we went back to evaluate, and now these Kalachunas were telling me how they had started business and how they were happy, and for me, I had never started even a kiosk.
You, the
but
trainer.
I had the theory, yes. So when we were coming back, and then I was like, now
my students have
this was challenging me.
I don't have anything to show.
And that's how I decided in that car, Land Cruiser, that I have to start a crafts business because I am very passionate about culture. So I started it at the National Theatre, National Arts and Cultural Crafts and Cultural Association of Uganda, Nakao. So that's where. And
Nakao is that craft market at the National
behind
Theatre.
the National
Cultural.
Yeah, that's where it is. And now, during COVID, I was like thinking, and I said, coffee. Why is it that we among the best producers of coffee?
And we not
but Finland, which is 5.5 million people, are the number one coffee drinkers. And I said, come on, what are we doing? I said, now I have to promote coffee. So I started now Pearl Coffee, which is also, in the same place, Pearl Coffee, where you come and then
take coffee.
So
that's the same place where the Pearl Craft Center is.
Or you come and say we want to have a process. So you come, you grind your coffee beans yourself, or you pound them. Then you mix them yourself. Then you take your coffee after, whether on a mat.
I promise you, we shall go for the experience, and I'll film for you, and we'll share here.
And then after that, you even take the cup, and the cups are Ugandan. Clay pots.
Oh, so after that, I go with my cup.
You go with your cup.
Wait.
And then have fun and remember, I was here. This cup is from here, and this is what happened. So we are trying to develop different concepts on coffee, other than having just a cup of coffee. And how can we? And also training, and also playing omweso, training, learning omweso as we have a cup of coffee. As we have a cup of coffee, then you are learning how to play omweso and understanding much of our culture, because our culture is wealth. Our culture is beautiful. If you are lucky to know this country.
So omweso is that board you see with those? What are those? Are those beads? Are they?
Those is on pichi.
What are they?
Those are seeds from
they are seeds. They are so hard. They're like metallic, and they are seeds.
And they were used. Yes, and they were used before. The peel would work as soap.
Oh.
Because it creates a foam, and then they would use it for washing.
And this is one game I have failed to learn. I just see people moving the bits of us.
Yes, because it's a very that is the African cousin to chess.
Oh.
It's complicated, it's calculative, but the benefits of learning that game, playing that game. Oof.
We actually need to have Garrison back on this show. One, to tell us the story on the baskets. I did pick that out. It's a long story, but I feel like it's a story worth telling. He is a storyteller, and maybe we should have the experience at Pearl Craft on how the coffee experience is done. And then, most importantly, we should learn about the omweso. So we really still need to do some more shows together with you here. Maybe your final words to the audience and how they can connect with you, or maybe your socials, or where they will find Pearl Craft and where they can find the coffee.
One, parents, let's have 2 ears.
Listening ears.
And 2 eyes. And let us be patient with these children because they're children and they're different.
Yes.
That is one. 2, when a girl gets pregnant, let us not put all our focus on her as the problem, because she is not the problem. let us focus at the perpetrator as the problem. And let us fix this problem. Let those men know that it's wrong to make these girls pregnant. Let us, community members, religious leaders, whoever is in the community, let us try to make sure that the environment is good for these girls, and once they go back to school, let us support them to make sure that they attain their education. Please come and have a cup of coffee at Power Coffee, at just behind National Theatre, at National Arts and Cultural Crafts and Cultural Association of Uganda. You are welcome. But also, please, if you have a group of people where you want me to come and say one or two words,
yes.
please,
or even
I'm
for the
available.
parents.
Come, I'm on Facebook. I'm not yet on TikTok. They are telling me to go on TikTok,
You
but
should join TikTok.
I haven't been. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn, WhatsApp. You can find me on WhatsApp as well. My number is 0752 655954. That's the WhatsApp number, and I'll be happy to chat with you, to see you and interact with you and learn more, because I think every single day is an opportunity for us to learn. And as I said, that darkness is an opportunity for stars to shine. So no matter how dark it becomes, let's keep shining.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayanja Garrison Mugamba. This conversation and you being here on the show was really, really, I don't know what to say, but thank you so much for sharing your insights and experience with us today. And I believe that as a parent or guardian or even a teacher, any member of the community, even religious leaders that watch this show, or if you're able to move this show and let them watch it, they will definitely get to consider protecting our girls and supporting the Hope for Girls advocacy, which is very much a part of, and they're willing to help you if maybe you want to start up something in your community at the grassroots to support the girl child. You know who to talk to for mentorship. These are the people you need. The change-making space really, many people that want to join it really get confused because they don't know what kind of mentors to go to. And to our audience, please remember that protecting our girls is our responsibility. And it begins with open conversations. From what I heard you speak, I also noted you said collective action, like everybody should do something. And yes, if you did find this discussion helpful, please do like, do share the video, do share the link, and most importantly, do subscribe. This is the only place I am sure that you're going to find such conversations that are going to help you grow as a change maker and help you become even better, even as a leader. And when this conversation was so rich, we took you into culture, entrepreneurship, into storytelling, into the real solutions. And I have nothing else to add but to be thankful to you. Please do leave a message for Garrison. Let us know how he made you feel. Now, I need to tell you something. The messages that come through, let me check if there are some messages that came through on the live. But these messages that come on the live, when the show is stopped, they disappear. So that means you would actually have to share again. Can you imagine? I don't know why YouTube does that. So now that means we would have to watch again, and you would have to watch again and re-comment and leave for him a message or a question. If you have it, he'll definitely respond, because he has agreed that he would return and do another episode with us. But I really, really was encouraged. I felt so motivated, and I feel like I'm going to be a better parent. These shows are really helping me learn so much. There's so many things we take for granted.
True. True.
So yes, and thank you so much to Stuart of Clap Records, my producer, and my creative producer is Enoch Nsubuga. Thank you so much, everybody.